will. So, and then each gate in the individual circuitry has a gate of melancholy. And this is the melancholy about not being seen as being different. That melancholic pulse it's like on the one hand is the creativity, and on the other hand is the melancholy. They go hand in hand, as it were. And the way I think about it, I do not have individual circuitry. I have some individual gates. So, I can go into melancholy, but I don't have that drive to create in the same way that I see in individual people. In fact, what I have seen in people who have strong individuality is I wouldn't even call them creative. It's like creativity demands their expression. It's like there's just this demand from whatever that muse is, whatever that creative essence that is life, demands that it come through people with that individual circuitry. So it's not la la la. It's actually a very intense thing to carry. And how I see that melancholy is the muse takes someone very deep inside themselves, and there's no output. And that's what a lot of times the melancholy seems to be about, is I'm not being creative. I have this, I'm being commanded to be a creative essence of a person, and nothing's happening. But the best way to deal with that melancholy, and I'll see what you do, V, after I finish talking, is to allow that introversion, to allow that deepening inside yourself, and find the sweet melancholy rather than the harsh depression. If you name it and you decide you're never going to be creative again, or something's wrong with you, you can really go into a depressive state. But if you just have that sweet melancholy baby feeling of kind of a wistful or a longing tone about it, then you can just be in it without naming it, without judging it, and allow that mutation is individual circuitry, allow the internal mutation to happen within that will then just naturally come with whatever your creative essence will then produce. Do you relate to that, V?
So much. Like literally, you almost made me cry just now. Like you nailed that, like
Aww.
completely. And I'm so glad that was like recorded.
Okay.
That was so me. I mean, because I do not relate to being creative at all. I would not say like I'm a creative. I would never say that. I am, but it's like something that it compels me. I can't do anything else but when it comes through in the moment. And it's also unconscious for me because it's in my body. So I'm not aware that it's happening. Other people have to tell me it's happening. Like, wow, how you did that was so unique and that was so creative. And I'm like,
Wow.
really? Like, I don't see that at all. It's just such a part of me. Like it's the G, it's the identity. So it's such a part of me. I can't even see it.
And that's a wonderful thing to bring to this. I'm glad that was recorded. To speak to the vast difference between when you have something in your personality and when you have something in your design. This is your sun earth, the 2 and the 1 are your sun earth in the design. And so it's strong. This is a strong aspect of who you are. And yet you're like, oh, really? Wait, what? Was that me?
Yeah.
And the melancholy would be a different flavor of melancholy, I imagine, when it's just in the body. Like, where would your melancholy be? I guess the 8 is the 8 conscious
Yeah. The whole
in your
thing's
chart.
unconscious.
Yeah. So, or even the 7 and the 13 would be your conscious sun earth. So I wonder, is there any way that you can differentiate what that melancholy creativity feels like in your body versus when you're really aware of it in your personality?
I
You
mean,
may
I feel
not.
like yeah, the only way that I even move through it is by moving my body. Like I could never just do nothing. It's nothing with the mind. It's like movement. That's why I fell in love with yoga. I need my wet kitchens for my movement in some capacity. And that moves everything. Like I even have a personal trainer and he's like, when you are working out, you start channeling. Like it's like things start to come through and all of a sudden I have a lot of clarity and I'm like, oh my God. And I'll start like, I see this in you. You could do this. I'm like, it's like, it just comes through. So it's,
Fantastic.
yeah, it's in the body.
Yeah. And you are designed to be active in your environment.
Mhm.
And I wonder how much of a part that's playing. Um, I've gone very, very deeply into variables and all the things beneath the line. I'm just that type of person. And what seems to be true to me, and I actually just finally heard Ross say it the other day, but I have noticed that if you get the correct environment, everything else is easier.
Mhm.
Like if there's one thing to do, which, we have the whole no choice thing, which you kind of just are doing your life, and the best thing you can do is make good decisions. But if there's anything to actually look at creating, it's getting your right environment. I can go from being depressed and feeling worthless and shiftless and like my life has nothing for me to all I do, and my mind has started to tell me, uh, go to the market, get us the fuck out of here. Like I'm going
Mhm.
down, right? And all I
Mhm.
have to do is go into the city and walk around and look at shops and, have little eye contacts with people and flirt with the coffee guy. And I'm good. I'm just good to go. Like my whole system gets lined up with me again. I've actually heard me say inside myself, oh, there I am. It's like I
Mhm.
don't exist until I get
Yeah.
into the marketplace.
Yeah.
Now that's accentuated for me, and this you V will never know what this means, but both of my sons and one of my earths are in open centers. So I
Mhm.
literally have no access to most of myself unless I'm out and about or with other people. Or there's a
So,
transit, but
so
that's
crazy.
random for me.
Yeah. Another thing that came through as you were saying that is the melancholy can often be related to direction for me. If I feel like I'm going the wrong
Mm.
direction, I like lose it, and then whenever someone's like, how are you doing? And I'm feeling good, it's because I'm going in the right direction. Like,
And
oh,
what
I
does
feel
that
like
what does that mean? I lose it. What is that? What's that
it's like
experience?
it's like my whole body just feels like it's not right, something's not right, something's not right, and like I can't feel better until I just move my direction, whatever
And
it is.
and do you know what do you know how you're off? Like is it literally, oh fuck, I went to Kahului, I needed to go to Makawao? I mean, is it that literal, like a certain place
Some
rather than another?
sometimes, but it can also be like in my life, like, maybe in a relationship, this relationship is not going the direction that's going to be good for me. So either I need to leave, I need to make a change, I need to have a conversation, something needs to happen to change. And then that's going to set us on a different trajectory. And then it's like, as soon as that happens, and I feel we're going the right direction, I feel like so at ease and uplifted. It's like my whole body just is like, I'm free.
That's
It's like I'm
fantastic. So
free.
this is G authority, people. And G
Mhm.
authority is very mysterious for a lot of us. So this is fantastic to bring this. And is there a place in your body that you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely in my G. It's that area.
I
It's
call it
kind
the
of, yeah,
Tarzan.
yeah. It's like
Sternum.
I'll
Yeah.
feel crushed. Like it feels crushed. Like my
Mm.
posture will even take a different shape. Like it's just like oh. But when I am going the right direction, it's like I'm like noodly.
Like
Like
it like it flowers.
yeah, like yesterday I felt like I was going in a really good direction. Like
Uh-huh.
everyone I talked to was just like, oh my God. And so that's the thing with G authority too, is people tell you how you're feeling. You sound amazing, you sound clear, you sound happy, you sound excited. Like that's all I heard all day yesterday was you sound really good. And then I was like, oh Oh yeah.
And especially for a projector who's
Mhm.
looking at the other, when the other gives you that feedback, that's invaluable, or it's actually valuable.
Yeah.
Invaluable. Hmm. um,
Mhm.
and do you also get that kind of feedback when you're not in the right direction?
Oh yeah. They're
Oh, you
like, you
don't
sound
sound so
upset.
good today.
You sound agitated. Are you
Uh-huh.
okay? It's definitely like, or you sound like you're really charged about something, like something, or
Something's going on.
your energy feels
Uh-huh.
different today.
Mhm.
It's very obvious. Like the G, it has this like reverberating energy about it. I mean, I've even had people tell me that they can feel my G in their chest when they're really close to me.
Yeah.
They're
Is
like, I can
and would
actually
that mostly be open G people?
undefined. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've described it as like butterflies in their chest or something. Like it's
Uh,
like the closer they are to me, it's like, and
that's fantastic.
yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, this is good information. I might want to just post this just for this. Um, I have a defined G, and mostly my experience, I'm a generator, so it's not my authority.
Mhm.
Mostly my experience with my G center is that it's buoyant in the right place, and it's like, as you said, kind of compressed
Mhm.
when not. But I also, I don't have a home. I actually, for 18 years now, I've been going here and following my G around the world. Um, not the whole world, usually Europe and London. Lucky me. But when I get an opportunity to go somewhere, or when I'm even just like, dreaming around and making little plans that may or may not come true, um, like when I am going to go to a certain place, I can literally feel my G turn that way and point in that direction.
Mhm.
And it's right here. And when I get to certain places, it's like it jumps up and down and goes, woohoo.
Mhm.
There's like this
Yeah.
buoyancy. Yeah.
And for me, because I don't have any of the lower centers defined, a big part of it is my energy. If it's correct and my G's
Mm.
online, I have energy. It literally is like a burst, and I'm like, oh, I'm excited, and I'm out the door. But if it's not, and like, I've tried to make plans with people before of like, we should hang out. Like, my mind says we should hang out. And then I try to make plans, and every day I go to hang out with them. My body is tired. And it's more than that. It's like my G is like, like, we don't want to.
We
I've
don't want to go
literally
there.
gone so far as to make plans recently, just the other day with a girlfriend, drove to her house, sat outside her house, and my G went, I don't want to go. So I just drove away and texted her and I said, I'm sorry, I can't come. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why, but every time I've gone against that, some shit went down that wasn't good. Even as far as like, weird conversations that I didn't need to be there for, weird energy, weird, just something like, it's like, we don't need to know. It's just what it is, right? So I'm at this place now. I don't have to wait around to realize, okay, G, you were right. I just listen, like, got it.
This people in TV land out there, this is following strategy and authority. This is what it sounds like. This is what it looks like. It's
Yeah.
actually listening to your body as you go through your life. Yep. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Thank you for that. I'm now even excited about what may come out of you about this G authority, this self-projected projector that you are, because it's not the most rare, but it's up there in rareness. And I think both for people who have that and for people who teach about it, to have this direct information from someone who's living it and really living it is incredible. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you have a very juicy G, plus you're a sphinx. So
Mhm.
when you come into contact with people, you bring something like your projector. So you're going deep inside of them and you're shifting their direction. And I,
Mhm.
I wonder, I can only hypothesize that if you are in the wrong place with the wrong people, you're not going to point them in the right direction. And when you're in the
Yeah.
right place with the right people, that's like magic. It's like
Yeah.
they get, oh, I didn't even know I could go that way.
That's literally what I am. I am either complete magic and you are so in awe of what I bring to your life, or you are like, get away from me. And there is no in between. And it's like, because I shake shit up everywhere I go. And just by walking into the room, like, I don't do anything. It's not intentional, but I walk into the room and it's like, oh my God. Or it's like, oh, I needed a new direction, you know, and they're drawn or they're repelled. And it's literally one or the other. And that in and of itself has taken me a long time to
Yeah.
own, because in my
Yeah.
younger years I was like, what did I do? You know, everyone's mad at me for like walking into the room, but
Well, you also have a tone 5 in your PHS, so your body is a vibratory field.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I would say the more just relaxed you get in your body and doing your correct PHS, that will strengthen
yeah,
that whole piece right there. That you'll have the vibe, you're already so clean with going in the right direction and
yeah.
stopping yourself. Like that's the thing right there. It's like, no, I got
Yeah.
here and no, I'm
Yeah.
not. Mm-mm.
I drove all the way here, however far I had to come, but still it's a no.
And no,
And
yeah.
I just trust that I'm not for everybody, but for the right people, I'm really for them. So
Mhm.
I don't take it personally at all. It'll kind of trigger old things that will come up of like, oh wow, I don't have recognition. Oh, how that
Mhm.
makes me feel from past stuff. But I trust it completely. And it's, like you say, I'm magic for people who want
Yeah,
to be that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I imagine someone you could be right for someone one day and not the next. You
Yeah,
know, do you
that's
notice
true
that
too.
as well? Both as a projector, because they could be
Hmm.
actually wrong for you.
Hmm.
We generators mostly, if you just give us attention, especially if we have an open throat,
Yeah.
we just want that attention and we don't necessarily pay any attention to you or recognize you or offer anything. And that's hell for the projector. So if you're following your strategy and authority, which is your G center, and as a projector, then hopefully you're not meeting, generators who just want to talk your fucking ear off and get all your attention and then kind of throw you away and go on with their day.
Yeah. Well, I also know how to discern between true recognition.
Nice. How? I would love to hear that.
Yeah, it's different every time. Sometimes it's just a feeling, that is my tone. So sometimes it's just feeling. I literally will hear like two sentences from someone and I'm like, yeah, you don't get me. Like, I'm good. It's just like I hear it.
Mm.
Um, but other times it's in their demands. If they're very demanding of me, I'm like, like I've shared with you, I had a boyfriend who would always ask me to do stuff for him. Like he was a yoga instructor and he'd be like, can you teach my class? Can you do this? Can you run down? And I'm like, who do you think I am? You think I'm a fucking generator?
I
Like,
have
what
no
the hell?
motors.
I have no motors. Bro, you got all the motors as a mini gen. What the fuck are you talking about? But it's like he could only see it as, oh, everyone must be like me. There was no recognition at all, even though he was like enamored by my energy and was like, loved what I brought to him. He loved my gifts. He loves what I gave him.
Well,
That's not
yeah,
recognition. That has nothing to do with me.
that's
Yes,
right.
I can do that for you, be what you need, help you get on the right direction. But what the fuck is that for me?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that I will like filter through. How many times have you asked me to do stuff and I haven't seen anything back? Or how does my body feel when I'm with them? If I start to feel drained or tired, or, if they are talking too much, if my throat starts to get tired because I have to constantly help them with stuff, even though it's defined, my throat gets tired too.
Yeah.
And then an invitation for sex is not an invitation. It's just an invitation for sex, So to have people understand that, I feel is a huge one. Because if someone invites you in for sex or they think you're hot, that's not true recognition. That's
So
thinking you're wrong.
but I want to say, I really loved that you went to the tone, because I
Mm,
think that anyone, who's a projector could look at like what tone, anyone
yeah,
that's anyone can look at
yeah,
what is my tone, because that's what you can take in. That's the cognition. That's how the tone is, how you choose what to take in, whether it's a piece of food or a person or information or whatever that is.
mhm.
um, Mine is taste, and I talked about that in a video I posted the other day about people with defined minds, and it's just like I can't take all of that in. Um, Defined head ajna is what I mean. So
Yeah.
yeah, going to that tone is a really good point. And then
Mhm.
how do you like? I love that you brought sex in, because I love talking about sex. 59-1 in Pluto. Um, How do you ever get invited correctly to sex? I mean, people like, okay, just let me say one more thing here. Like, look at me
Yeah.
motor mouthing at you. Um, you have the fifth tone, and fives are always projected on. So there is a
Mhm.
projection field that you're walking around in.
Yeah.
Plus, you're gorgeous. Plus, you're a yogini. You have all these things plus the way that you look at people and what you bring. So you're being projected on
Yeah.
all the time. Um, yeah, so is there a correct invitation? Like how would I mean,
I will tell you, I haven't been correctly invited into sex yet, but I haven't lost hope that I will. I would say as a fourth line, I'm a 4/6 profile. It's going to be through friendship,
yeah,
a deep, deep friendship, and loving me as a friend first, recognizing me as a friend first, the gifts that I bring, and just who I am, and like not wanting anything from me. Like I can love you as you are, exactly as you are. You don't have to perform for it. Just as you are, I fucking love it. Whether you choose me or not, whether you fuck me or not, I love you in that.
yeah, nice. I mean, I thought it was a revelation the other day for me, and maybe for you, when we were talking on the phone, and you said you had met someone, but you just didn't feel that kind of juicy, sexy thing. And I thought, good, that's the
Yeah.
one.
I know.
Because you can actually be a
Yeah.
friend first without that compulsion
Yeah.
amplification shit going on. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got the whole fourth line. It's in process. I got a lot of people, we're in process, but from point A to you meet
Yeah.
for a fourth line to actually getting to have sex and intimacy and partnership, it is a huge process that takes months and months and months of time getting to know someone. As you said, Ross says, getting inside of someone. Like it is very intimate. The process of fourth line, getting to know if you're in their network or not. It's not, I know you, and so, oh, you're in my network now.
Right.
It is so deep and so intimate. Like I get inside people. And that's
Yeah.
the problem, is they usually fall in love with me in that process. And it's not necessarily to become a partner after that process. It could
Yeah.
become that, but it could just be, okay, I love you as a friend forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what's so essential is boundaries.
Yeah.
It's like, can you, when that is going on, be as clear as when you're in the car by yourself and your
And
G
so
says no.
yes, that I think a big part is the feeling, and then it's the inner authority as well. Because I have told dudes all day long, here are my boundaries. We're just friends. I'm not going to have sex with you. I'm doing a fourth line thing. I have said it until I'm blue in the face, but I could feel it wasn't landing for them. And they were still being like, okay, whatever. I'll just wait around until she's like ready. They weren't really in the process with me. And feeling wise, I knew that, but I didn't want to believe it because I was like,
Mhm.
I'm in the process. This is part of the experiment,
Right. Right.
So I've experimented with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's an interesting piece. When I think of boundaries, I think of gate 6, which you don't have. You have the 59. Um, because the 6, is that yes or no to intimacy, to going deeper in relationship with someone. And I do have the 6, and I tend to be quite good with boundaries. And
Mhm.
what I see is it has nothing to do with what you're saying. Yeah, say it, because then there's a context. But what a boundary is no.
Mhm.
It's just no. If no, no is just no. I'm noticing it. I'm walking a dog these days that has been allowed to be the leader, and I'm just like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything if I say, no, stop pulling me. It's like, no, stop, and so whatever
Yeah.
that means, with when you're with a guy, it's like, no, stop.
Mhm.
Stop
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
Stop this behavior because that's unacceptable.
Exactly. And for me, if there's not true recognition, I'm not even interested at all. It's like literally I'm bored and
Good.
like I don't even see you. It's like you're not even like in my field.
Yeah,
If I feel that, I'm just like I don't see you. I forgot your name. Like I don't know. Like, what's your name again?
exactly. Exactly. So I think that's really good feedback for projectors as well. Um, I mean, I'm a generator with 3 channels to my sacral. So I have 100% of no fucking idea whatsoever what it is to not have energy.
Mhm.
Even when I'm exhausted, I have energy.
Mhm.
um, but I can only imagine what it is to be around someone who hooks you up in a way that you feel this burst of energy, that you feel this sexy thing in the solar plexus, and how seductive that can be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, you know, being um, responsible to your body and taking care of yourself in that way is one of the greatest gifts you can be. I mean, it's respect, really. Like, do I
Yeah.
respect me?
Yeah, it's respect, exactly.
Yeah.
And also recognizing in the moment that I'm in the energy, it's not me and I'm amplifying them. So, in a way, I don't really trust what my body says in the moment. I'm
Right.
like, I'm having an experience and it feels good. Let's wait. I'm
Nice.
not going to really, it's like I don't really trust my decisions fully until I really know the energy, have been able to sit with it and say, okay, they have all these centers, they hook me up in all these ways. I'm very amplified emotionally when I'm around them. So it's just being wise with your energy and all these centers. Wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so have you, like walking, like driving to your friend's house and your G says no, have you actually been able to be around, let's say, some super hot MG who's like, oh baby, baby, and you just feel so good? Have you been able to back away and say no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually did that very recently. I was really proud of myself. I was like, I could so get swept away in this energy. Like it felt amazing. Like it had like a dope spleen, sacral motor, just like revved up engine. It felt so good. But I was like, I don't know this person well enough. I don't know him to be in my network. I don't have, I'm just gonna like have a break from this energy, pull back, see how it is, see how he feels. But like, I mean, it took a lot. I have really amazing willpower, I guess. Like it would be so easy to just go with it. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like sex for a projector and like moving the energy is like the easiest thing in the world. Like being able to just dance with someone's energy and like move it with me and you, it's the easiest thing in the world, but it doesn't mean that it's correct for me.
Right.
And that's where I notice a lot of projectors get caught where they're like, oh, how do I not do that? It's like, well, it's not you. Like once you realize it's not you and you're just doing something with someone else's energy, then you can step back and say, oh, I don't know if that's correct for me.
Nice. Nice. I have the opposite experience with sexuality because I'm a 59-6. So I'm the thing that hypes people up, right? And of course, it's different. I mean, we're both hetero, so you're talking about men and I'm talking about men, and men are different than women, I think, in some basic hormonal drive stuff. Um, and what I find when I'm, especially with a projector with open emotional, right? So no sacral, no emotion, and they're just hyped up on my energy. it's really gross, actually, because they're not even there.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like a dog who, just suddenly goes crazy because they smell a fox. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you're not in your body. You're not anything, like you don't even exist here, but you're frantic. And
Yeah.
the irony of that, and I have a fifth line body also, so there's this whole projection field on me, is they think I'm doing it. Like I
Mhm.
once had this guy like just go crazy, and I'm like, dude, like you have to stop this. And I just went with it because I didn't know how to stop him. I actually didn't know how to stop him. So I just went, and he goes, afterward, he goes, wow, you really wanted me. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh.
I mean, I can still remember that moment. I was flabbergasted. Like, I'm like,
Mm,
really? You actually think that? You
mm.
weren't in your body. You didn't exist inside of yourself. I wasn't even interested. And you thought it was me.
That's a really great point, I think, for any projector. And I have actually come to that a lot, where when I'm feeling the energy, I make sure and ask, like, is this person even attracted to me, or am I just amplifying them? And like, I have a lot of conscious
Nice.
conversations around it. And dudes are
Yeah.
always like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, I'm at this point now where I am reading it correctly because I've been in my experiment long enough. I understand the difference now between amplified sacral, and this sacral is for you. Like my sacral wants you in this moment. That's very different than just the sacral is existing in my vicinity, in my field. Very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's probably very akin to an addiction. I have to have
Mhm.
that sugar. I have to have that,
Yeah.
like that, because there's this kind of frantic going for something that isn't,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't,
I was
not good
seeing a
sex
guy.
for me.
I was seeing a guy who had the spleen and the sacral defined. And we had kind of had this moment where I realized I didn't want to be with him when we were like having a conversation. But my body didn't know that. And so I was kind of like telling him, okay, I'm not sure if I don't want to be with you. And then it was like the moment I got out of his field, it was like, oh my God, of course we don't want to be with him. Of course. But in the moment,
Yeah.
I didn't know that because my
Yeah.
body was just amplifying it and it felt so good. And this was still recently. So still 7 years into my experiment, I still have to get out of the energy to even really know because there's so much being
It's so
amplified
much
and it feels
amplification.
so,
Yeah.
so much. And it feels so, it's like I have a spleen and a sacral. And it's like if the emotional centers there, fucking forget about it. Like I just like,
It's everything I want in the
yes,
world.
yeah. So then it's like, is it even love? Do I even care about this person? Do I, there's
Mhm,
such a process of like seeing someone for who they really are and not just
mhm,
in the energy and in the juice.
mhm.
And then also having the conversation around it, because that generator was like, he knew because I've informed him enough with words of like, I'm really affected by your energy. I can't sleep in the same bed with you. Here's why. Like I was very clear. But if we didn't have that awareness and the communication, it would just be like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I can imagine um, the male version of me might not care, if you and I were in that situation. As a woman, it's like, dude, get in your body. Like, this is uncool. But a man might not care. He just wants to get in your body, and he doesn't care
Mhm.
if you're present. Or I may, that probably isn't true for men who are conscious, but um, for a lot of men that I have known, they don't seem to be as concerned. They just want to get something. And that's
Well,
very
also
distasteful. I
without
have noticed that I'm going to say one more thing. There's two types of men who are attracted to me. And one is with appreciation, like, wow, you're really something. And one is with, I want it. And that's just horrible.
Oh my God, that sounds horrible. Oh, I can like feel that in my body. It
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
horrible.
It's predatory. It's
Mhm.
predatory.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this juicy thing. I
Yeah,
want
I
it.
just
I
want
want
to own it. I
that.
just want to have it. I want to control it. Not,
Mm.
wow, can I touch it? Can I be, connected to that in some way for even a moment. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. All I was just gonna say was that without this awareness, how could anyone know? Like how,
Yeah.
as you're saying, a man may not understand. Like to most men, I am the greatest mystery they'll ever see. Like
Yeah.
they don't understand me at
Yeah.
all because I'm a fucking projector and I'm so open and all the things. It's like they couldn't even begin to understand me. So for projectors, at least if we can understand ourselves, it's fucking helpful.
Yeah.
Then we understand them and then we understand ourselves.
Yeah.
It's so important. So it's, you know, it's no one's like
Everything.
job. Yeah, it's no one's job to understand me, but it's my responsibility and how I move through the world and how I make my decisions. And
Yeah.
yeah.
No kidding. Which thank goodness for Raw, thank goodness for HD, because they're like we were talking yesterday, I think it was like there's nothing else out there that speaks to what it is to be a projector, much less
Mhm.
to be a projector with no motors or fucking mental projector. I mean, there just is nothing, there's no context for that in our world. And
Totally.
yeah,
Hmm.
so thank you, Ra, forever and ever and ever.
So grateful.
I actually love where this conversation went. Wasn't what we thought we were doing.
Ah, right brain.
Let's, I'm actually going to stop this recording so we can just have this.
Okay.